it was an explosion. So what have I been up to? I spent the last 3 days getting a very, very good education in tractor assembly or disassembly, however you want to look at it. So I had a family member come and visit, and we spent really the last, today's Thursday, August 4th, and he got here on Sunday. We started on Monday, and we spent Monday, half of Tuesday, Wednesday, and then this morning, before he had to fly home, we spent tearing apart the 720, most of our time tearing apart the 720. What a great educational experience. That's why there's not a video of it. In terms of confidence, and this is nothing more, and I've talked about it before in my other videos, paying your tuition. I bought this machine as a project. I didn't know what the project was going to be. Turned in, it was just a part out project, but I bought it for the wide front for the 730, which I love on the 730. So we got the wide front installed in the 730. But what I have learned tearing this machine apart is invaluable to me. I mean, eventually all these parts will get listed and sold. So if you need parts from a 1956 720 gas, let me know. You know, it's certainly been educational. I still have lots to do in terms of getting all the parts cleaned up and whatnot, but I really, really learned a lot. And also got to test out some tools that I have not really tested before. But let me walk down and I'll show you the 730 real quick, since that was kind of that's what started this. Really excited about the 730 now that it has the wide front on it. I posted that short video the other day, and it looks so much better. Looks like a proper farm tractor. I realize some people really like narrow fronts or Rollmatics, which that's the Rollmatic. I am keeping that because that's what originally came with it. So I'm going to put that on a pallet and put it up on pallet racking, and it's just going to stay. I left the hood off since we had it off, and we also had a little incident with the hood. So I'm in the market for a new nose cone if anybody has one, and I'm happy to trade the 720 nose cone for a 730 nose cone. Not that anybody would be foolish enough to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and at some point in the next couple weeks, take the rest of the hood off and give the machine a good cleaning. Just because I haven't cleaned it since I own it when I bought it in November of 21. And so, I mean, how long does it take to build up grime like that? So that line is that big, and look how that grime is just kind of built up over time. We did clean off the steering pedestal and stuff, and I'll go into all that in that video that I'll edit here pretty soon and get it out there. This video will probably be out first. The only thing we didn't get done is we didn't change the rear tires here. I was going to take the rear tires that were on the 720 and put them on the 730. But then I found out that these tires are filled with calcium chloride, which is a little bit more than I want to handle at the moment. And so what I'm thinking about doing is as soon as I find a rim guard dealer that will do it, I need to put rim guard in the 4066 tires. And so I think what I'll do is I'll see if they will switch out the rims, and I'm happy to help them, but they've got the crane and everything and the expertise to do it. And I'm not having to kill my back or anything or drain the calcium chloride out. Or maybe they'll help me drain the calcium chloride, whatever. Doesn't really matter to me, but I may see if they want to do that. So that's what we didn't get to, but we'll see. But that gets me, actually, we didn't get to two things. The other thing we did not get to is putting these fenders on the 730. The fenders aren't necessarily in as good a shape as I thought they were at first, but we couldn't get to them because there was no way to get into those bolts right there. They're 1 1/8" heads. And you can't get a wrench in there, and you can't get a socket in there. I'm thinking about taking and making them liquid, but that's not necessarily what I want to do at first, because I have a feeling I'm not good enough with the torch yet, and I might blow through the fender. And I can't get these to move. Now, the reason I even bring this up is we've had a chance to test some tools the last couple of days. And this evening, because I have been impressed to date by the Icon line at Harbor Freight. Now, keep in mind that using me using tools is about as close to being hard on them as you can and using them all the time. And we just got done, all these tools in here got used heavy for 3 days. And I'm not saying I'm a professional mechanic, because I am not, but I am really good at abusing tools. And not that mechanics do. Mechanics are probably much easier on them than I am. I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking. But I went and bought a swivel set of impacts from Harbor Freight. I've been looking for a swivel set. I've been trying to find them at auction, things along those lines. Never found a set. So finally I just broke down. They were $159 for the swivel set from Harbor Freight, the Icon line. We're going to see how they work. I think that I should be able to test them out. I have tested out, so far, everything that I have bought from Icon, I have been thoroughly impressed by. That is a 1/2-inch Icon ratchet. I think if I was going to break it, I was going to break it this weekend, because I needed a ratchet. I didn't feel like putting a 4-foot cheater bar on my 24-inch snap-on, and it was where we were trying to get was too big for the 40-inch Tecton 3/4 drive, or the Craftsman 3/4 drive. So what I did is I used a 4-foot cheater pipe. Let me look, where is it at? It was oh, right there. I put that pipe on that ratchet and hung on it, and it didn't break, and we still used it, and it got the bolt loose. So I was thoroughly impressed by that ratchet. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I can't say the same for other tools that I tested out this weekend. About a month ago, I ended up at an auction and I bought a set of gear wrench flex head ratcheting wrenches. In the course of 3 days, 2 of them are now I would consider toast. The 9/16 and the 5/8. The 5/8 ratcheting mechanism only works about half the time, and the 9/16 head is bent or something's wrong with the head. So can't say I'm too impressed about that. Obviously, I have all of my good USA Craftsman wrenches. They did absolutely fantastic. I mean, hung on those things, you know, really, I mean, just what I would expect from that caliber of tool. I really can't say enough good things about these. Over here, here's all the 720 parts that we messed up. Have these right here. I got these a couple years ago. They're Craftsman, but they're professional. They're the jumbo set, so they go from I want to say 1 inch to 1 5/16 inches. Really, I love them. I used them extensively. The 1 1/8 I used pretty much all weekend, or all week. Used them a lot. I mean, really, really nice. The only funny incident I wish I would have caught on camera, you see all the oil dry on the floor. We had a small miscommunication when it came to fluid draining. I thought we had drained all the fluid in the machine, but we didn't. I went to go pull the power troll off the back, and I'm guessing what we think is about 2 gallons, which makes it seem a whole lot less than it is. What we think about 2 gallons of hydraulic fluid poured out of the back of this thing, and you have the resulting 80 pounds of, this is the second application of 40 pounds of oil dry. And there's probably more than 40 pounds on the floor because we didn't get it all the first time. And it's literally going to take me weeks to get all the oil dry out of this building. But that was pretty funny because I opened it up and the oil just poured out. I mean, literally just poured out. I'll show you back here. So the power troll sits right here, and literally that whole thing was full. It kind of, well, you can't really see, but it basically goes, or I think it goes around, maybe not. Anyway, it was all in there, and it just came pouring out and went everywhere. You can see, you know, the floor is getting kind of dry. A couple more days of the oil dry sitting here and me stirring it around, it should be a lot better. But yeah, that was pretty funny when that happened. Obviously, there was a lot of running around like chickens with their head cut off, trying to get the oil dry down as fast as we could before it got into the floor drain. and I only had a half bag of oil dry out here. And so I quickly, or my family member went and ran to the other building, grabbed another 40-pound bag of oil dry, and oh yeah, it was a mess. So interesting use of a tool this weekend goes to the demolition hammer. Use the demolition hammer to get the bolts out of the clamp bolts out of the rims. These rims are no good. They're cracked. I think both of them are. So they're no good. So that was one of the reasons that I just decided that this is going to be a training machine for me, because frankly, it's just not worth my time to try to find another one of these and get these off and everything. I think ultimately, because these are such a pain to move already, that when I scrap whatever I'm going to scrap, these will go with it, and probably the axles too. But the only thing we have not removed is that, well, it's kind of holding me up now, is the counter shaft. And the counter shaft we're struggling with, and hopefully if you can see that snap ring right there at the tip of my finger. We can't figure out what we're doing wrong to get that snap ring loose. Supposedly we're supposed to move it to the camera, and according to the manual, we're supposed to move it towards the camera. When we move it towards the camera, it moves on a spacer, and then you should be able to take the shaft apart inside the housing. It is an upgrade from Deere. This is a 56, and I believe they made that change in 57 or even 58. It is an upgrade is an upgraded shaft, so I know somebody's been in this machine in the past. The problem is I just don't know how to take that snap ring off. Like I said, I went to Harbor Freight tonight, and I got 2 long screwdrivers. I'm gonna cut. These are Pittsburgh screwdrivers, so they're not the best. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the end off, and I'm gonna bevel them a little bit, and I'm gonna see if I can't use them like a pair of pulse tool diggers, and I'm gonna spread it that way. That's kind of my thought. We're gonna try to see if we can't make a tool to do that. I don't know if it'll work, but we're gonna certainly try. Other than that, it's come apart pretty easily. Just a little bit of studying our apart. We got the front clip, or the front support, removed earlier today. That was kind of one of the last things we did before he needed to leave. So now I'm down to removing the transmission. I got to figure out how to get those bolts out, because I would like to separate everything just to see more how everything fits together. Because once again, this was just hugely helpful in figuring out how things are put together and how things work. So really happy that I did this versus, I realized that, sometimes you want to fix something and get it running right and sell it. But this, in terms of my tuition dollars, really, really paid for itself. So